Pick a class. Any class.
Disciple.
You want Disciple? You guys interested in Disciple?
Disciple's an interesting case because it's one of the situations where the existing IP, the existing Warhammer IP, it's a little bit difficult to fill some of the archetypal roles that exist within your sort of standard MMO structure. And so one of the things that we had to do was kind of go to GW and work with them and find a way, for example, for the Dark Elves, to have a healer, to have them have a character class that their core function is a non-sort of offensive support role. And that meant that basically Adam had to be locked in a room with guys like Alan Merritt, who basically went at him for hours, and Adam came out hairless. He had long flowing hair when this process began.
Luxurious locks.
And as a result, we've actually created a character career that doesn't exist anywhere else in the Warhammer world. Yet. But this is a unique creation from Age of Reckoning. That's obviously an exciting sort of thing for the guys that are sort of Warhammer fanatics to have been a part of. We also had the Zealot over on Chaos. Again, we had a similar sort of issue of who would the Chaos healer be. And within the existing IP, there really wasn't a good fit for that. So again, GW worked with us to develop the Zealot.
And now we have a crazy skull-waving witch doctor. So the Disciple of Khaine is he's one of our healers. He's a melee healer, so he's kind of the contemporary of the warrior priest. You're going to actually find this very, very similar. You'll notice the more and more we show classes, the more and more you read about it. There are classes on both sides of the fence that sound really, really close to each other. That's actually on purpose. Originally, we spent a lot of time making each and every one of the 24 classes unique in and of themselves. A, that caused a huge amount of headache. Once again, hair, balancing. B, it also caused a little bit of dissatisfaction amongst the people playing because we frequently got, I really love the warrior priest, but I really hate playing good guys. I want to play the bad guys. So we went ahead and we went back and we took a look at everything, and we kind of made similar but different classes. So the Disciple and the warrior priest are both melee healers. They both have the same general mechanic. They get into fight. They attack with melee attacks to build up a pool of energy, which they then use for magical powers. In the case of the warrior priest, it's always divine grace from Sigmar. I build up righteous fury of my divine anger. I use that to, expend for magical abilities. In the case of the Disciple, he's more of an assassin, so to speak. He cuts away at people. He takes little bits of their blood. You can't say blood in Germany, so essence, soul essence. And he slowly just pulls parts of energy from you into him, and then he sacrifices those to Khaine to grant him magical abilities. As such, the biggest difference in terms of, while they functionally play very similar, the warrior priest is a lot of swinging his hammer and yelling praises, and everybody's inspired around him, where the Disciple is stabbing you with his blade, pulling out your energy and just wrenching it from you and throwing it to somebody else. The end result is very similar, but the delivery method is completely different. So in the case of the Disciple, like we were saying, melee healer, his mechanic is soul reaping, we're calling it, where basically he pulls essence out of people, stores it up, expends it as magical energy. The Disciple can go one of two ways. They can kind of be a little bit more of a standoffish healer. They're not really that good at it. They can use blades and blood chalices to kind of augment their healing abilities. The chalices are not damage oriented. You can't use them to attack, but they do boost spellcasting stats pretty significantly. They got a lot of willpower on it. They got healing bonuses, so on and so forth. Whereas the Disciple could also go this way with two blades for a more offensive oriented role to build up essence a little bit faster, to do a little bit more damage. He's a little bit more offensively oriented. So what happens with the Disciple, once again I'll now kill myself so I don't accidentally die, is the Disciple has his three paths as well. His three paths, pull these up, are the path of ritual, the path of torture, and the path of sacrifice. We're currently doing a pass on all of our healers, once again off of beta feedback, to kind of differentiate them amongst each other, once again just like the tanks, to kind of fit a little bit of a role. The Disciple and the warrior priest, we're kind of focusing to be more of the spread healers, the group healers, because they're in the mix of combat. They're right up there with all the tanks. They don't have a lot of time to target people. They want to just get out heals and get away with them. They're going to get more AoE group heal types of situations. They're going to get things like the Covenant of... Ooh, I got to remember the name on it.
It should be noted we actually have a dual targeting system, so the healers can actually have a friendly target simultaneously with an aggressive target, so that for the more specific single targeted healers, they don't have to worry about swapping targets back and forth in order to satisfy the rules.
So I can turn on something like Covenant of Vitality, which basically takes a part of my essence and spreads out an aura buff. I can only have one of them active. Different disciples can have different one actives, but the same ones can't stack. But what the Covenant of Vitality does is it basically grants all of the people in the group the chance to life tap on any attack they do. So once again, trickling in a little bit of extra health. He has slightly faster heal times, but his heals have longer cooldowns on them, so he can cast fast, so he's not as interrupted when he's getting hit, but he can cast less frequently, or about the same amount of frequency as a normal caster. So basically their whole goal is to wade into combat, fight, 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 heal, 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 fight, 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 heal, heal, heal. So back on their lines, the Path of Ritual, which unfortunately I've given him all of his abilities, so we can't see this. But the Path of Ritual is all about his actual direct healing. Those are all the things where he sacrificed soul essence to heal his group. Located in that place is the standard, I cast and I heal my target for a big amount of health. The standard, I heal a little bit and it hots, and a standard hot. But also located there is my group rescue heal, which is, I hit it and my entire group gets a bunch of health, but it's got a really, really long cooldown time on it. My group hot, which a lot of other people don't get, where I hit it and for a long duration of time, insta-cast, heal over time. The group health sacrifice, where basically I hit it and I sacrifice not only my essence, but my own health for a short period of time to rapidly increase my group's health. Obviously that one there, because it's dangerous, can't be used when you're being hit. It could be, immediately disrupted if you're hit while using it. His second path, which is the Path of Torture, the Path of Torture, is kind of his more offensive melee line. So that's where all of the abilities are located that do a lot of the reaping, do a lot of the damage. So things like Flay, which is just a very simple, bleed my target. But the nice thing about Lacerate, where I just put a bleed on my target, or I cripple my target as we call it. The nice thing about Lacerate, though, is there's little combos throughout the characters that things lead into others. So if I've used Lacerate and my target is crippled, when I use Flay, not only does damage, but it snares my target. Once again, if I use Lacerate and my target's crippled, and I use Cleave Soul, it not only does damage, but it does extra damage. So kind of the Path of Torture is all about building up, reaping soul essence, and also doing damage. The final path, which is the Path of Sacrifice, I believe that's what it is. 2 points for me if I've actually got it right. Path of Sacrifice is oriented more towards life transfers or transferring of stats. So within that line, you have a lot of other abilities. Let me get to it. Where basically you can do things like Consume Essence. It hits your opponent, does damage, and sends life energy, healing, to your defensive target, or if you have no defensive target, to yourself. So basically, they don't really have the same type of, I can get a single person, boing, way the heck up, but just as I'm fighting, I can keep another person retained just a little bit. Other things are, Consume Resolve, takes away a little bit of morale from your target and gives it to you or to your friendly target. Consume Strength, takes away strength from your target, gives it to your other opponent's target. So once again, because he's a healer, he doesn't do a lot of damage, but he can do a lot of hurt, debuffing you first, so he can put, damage. He's taking away your strengths and giving it to him. So he's slowly taking the balance and the scales and pushing it this way. Here we are. Also, once again, the Disciple does have some other abilities that are purely offensive-oriented. Things like Fell Sacrifice damages yourself, but does PBOE damage on everybody around you. So the Disciple is very much an up-down trade-off type of